Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the Industry Connect Roundtable, making transformation successful and valuable by integrating sustainable practices. We had ardently tried to make this a real roundtable conference in Mumbai, but due to recent COVID scenarios, welcome online. And thank you so much for making the time to be here and be a part of this. This is the first Monday of the year, so hoping that we have an amazing time, a very pleasant discussion. So I would quickly get started by introducing the Amplo Global team and thereafter give over to Vivek. Starting with Anirban Bhattacharya. Anirban has over 20 years experience in strategy research and development, implementation of physical and digital operations in manufacturing, improving supply chain processes, and enabling process automation services. He has worked at global corporations like IBM, Capgemini, KPMG, among others. He has utilized his professional experience to create Amplo Global Inc. and Amplo Global Strategy and Analytics Private Limited, an artificial intelligence enabled Industry 4.0 led risk management product platform company. He is also the chairman of board and board member of Amplo Global and Amplo Global Strategy and Analytics Private Limited. Now I would like to introduce Pooja Soni. She has an expertise of over 19 years in developing solutions for a broad range of business, including customer relationship management, predictive analytics, automation, data sciences, mining, mergers and acquisitions. Influential thought leader with distinguished track record for executing complex projects and delivering engagements that impact the bottom line. Passionate about increasing value by driving change, improving operational efficiency, and delivering results based on analytical insights. Pooja is the Chief Technology Officer, Chief Digital Officer at Amplo Global Inc., and a board member, vice chairman, and CTO of Amplo Global Strategy and Analytics Private Limited. I would like to introduce Sonia Banerjee, a pedigreed marketing corporate career for 20 years with an enriched experience across sectors and leadership management roles. She unifies business objective to strategic brand management. Her approach to intertwine her core strengths in consumer centricity, apply technology to meaningful business solutions, driving innovative practices and profitable relevance with design thinking, brings in unique and impactful market-focused creative solutions. She is the lead advisory and head of global innovation of Amplo Global Strategy and Analytics Private Limited. Lastly, and most importantly, I would like to introduce Vivek Saha. Vivek has 26 years practitioner experience across transformation and consulting, SI consulting, and digital intelligence for large manufacturing, automotive, consumer telco, retail, energy, banking, insurance clients. He is the CEO and managing director of our recently launched Indian arm of Amplo Global Inc., Amplo Global Strategy and Analytics Private Limited. I would lastly like to introduce myself. I am Megha Mondor. I head the digital marketing as well as global marketing for Amplo Global Inc. and Amplo Global Strategy and Analytics Private Limited. I would now give over the baton to Vivek to officially announce this roundtable open and start the discussions.
Thank you, Megha. If you allow me to share my screen. A very warm welcome to everyone. While we see our viewers still joining in, let me share my screen and let me know if you all can see my screen.
Yeah, visible.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I think it's been a pleasure for us to have some of our key speakers. So we have organized ourselves with the key speakers around the themes. We'll talk about it as we go forward. The real aspect which we want to cover here today is about solving execution in crisis. And, basically, if you look at today, we're going everywhere. We are talking about thought leadership and digital transformation. But how do we go to the next step for solving for this crisis? Interconnectedness and collaboration, getting the value chain visibility. That is the most important aspect to touch upon, right? And that's why we are here today. And I really want to reemphasize, and all the leaders who are here are quite cognizant about it. In fact, we are here because of this only. So we will, over the next few hours, and of course, we'll have to shorten this based upon it being purely online. We will spend on this, we'll focus on these areas. Also, very much important, when we are talking about execution, we all have to evangelize creating an ecosystem, right? Which is a kind of a mini execution task force as well. So if you see people out here, the speakers who are across the themes and the interactive interventional leaders, everyone basically are coming from the ecosystem. So they are part of the ecosystem as we look at it. So that's how we can set an execution path for all of us. Sorry, it's moving very fast. So that's all we can look at us. Give me 1 second. Yeah. And the second part is, so one part is the ecosystem, which is actually the task force, and many of us and many of you will become our advisors on day-to-day basis or on a strategic basis. So that will stand in there. And the second is product platform, which is, of course, we're going to talk about it, which is going to accelerate both transformation and sustainability initiatives, right? So we all know that industry is embracing productization, right? Fast time to market, fast time to change, right? And you cannot do that over Excel sheets. You cannot do it over presentations. You cannot do it over just having a consulting arm. So these are the three things I want we all fabric ourselves pretty much well. I think everybody is an industry leader out here. But I would say end of the day, we should have a takeaway from this. Now, with that, I also want to actually define transformation, right? If you are talking about transformation, what it means across towers, it's very important to know, because we have so many definitions for transformation, and I'm not talking about digital transformation out here, that we all get psyched about it, right? I'm again sorry, this is all going on a animation basis, so I'll get back to the water side. So everybody is talking about transformation in their own way. The definition of transformation has come on their own way. Sometimes it means digital transformation. They are still talking about transformation. Sometimes it means transformation as a whole. So it's quite confusing. So if you see this picture out here, I hope you can all see this. This is taking the 360-degree view of left side. If you see the new business models, revenue streams, right side, integrating sustainable practices, which includes process optimization and re-engineering, sustainability within business plan, then CSR, right? I'm sure on theme 3 will cover that. Design thinking and data-led digital innovation, not for the sake of technology. I'll have my friend Bhaskar talk about this from his heart, right? What it exactly means, and of course, from our strengths from our Amplo Global team. And if you see towards the left, what does it all encompass, include into a end-to-end value chain visibility, right? So this is very important, right? When you lead the change, you should consider all the towers of this transformation, and you should have the whole value chain visibility as you transform yourself, right? So with that, at this point, when I have kind of made it a bit clear about what are our expectations, why we are here, what are the areas and towers we have to cover, I'm going to pass on the baton to Andy Anirban, my friend, who's going to lead this and start talking about his views and also about the product platform. Over to you, Andy.
Sure, Vivek. So good afternoon, everyone. First of all, as Megha mentioned, that it's a tough choice we have to make. And but I'm heading to Mumbai tonight, so I'm going to meet Samir tomorrow. So if Mala, if you are okay to meet one-on-one, I would love to. I will spend some time till Saturday, and then I will head out to New York on Saturday night. So thank you for everything. Thank you for joining. Happy New Year. What I will do, I will take a few minutes to showcase a futuristic vision as well as a present tool, and give you some perspective around what we have done so far, and also quickly show you the technicalities between where our heads are for 2026 and where our heads are now in 2022. So what's the technology pool look like, how we have done this, where we are hitting hard, which area we are going after. So I'm going to share my screen quickly. And I have a presentation to start with. And this is something as I present, I'm going to turn off. I can't see myself. So if you have any question, please stop me and make it interactive. So when we talk about digital transformation, and especially post-COVID, the area we are really wanting to make a mark is where somebody has a very mature plan and can we measure it. Somebody who has a plan, not so mature, can we help them to be mature? And somebody who doesn't have a plan, can we help them to make a plan? That is the box we are hitting hard with our platform-led go-to-market. And the journey where we started with Amplo Global have been in the US in 2018-19 timeframe. And what we do in a nutshell is we are a strategy synthesis platform, and we want to be known in mid and long term as somewhat as an enterprise resource planning solution for strategy space, not for transactional space like SAP and Oracle has been doing, but a bit upstream. So we define cases that if the leader is already ready to execute or he or she is thinking to execute, and we give a numerator and denominator to the character of that use case, and literally through like a platform. And we do it by bringing data together. At the end of the day, we are driving this with data, and also we are driving this with experience. And ultimately, we initially started with driving this with business consulting automation. But finally, as we are going into 2022, we are seeing that we are being accepted as a decision framing platform. And we are measuring results in weeks instead of months. And we are reducing the strategy development time by half. But also please understand, this is not a one-size-fits-all solution. That's a bad news and a good news. So it's a cloud solution, but it's not a Microsoft 365 where you would be able to just open the email and your emails will start popping in. It's not like that. So it needs some kind of like a framework approach, a method to the madness to bring things out. And what we have done in the last, I would say 2.5 years, we have heavily focused on sustainability, supply chain, manufacturing, green sourcing, green IT, because business and technology come together. And we have stayed focused in that area. and we haven't gone out and just did fintech or anything, nothing like that. But this is a platform that is a horizontal platform. It can be leveraged for any use case. But where we have made a mark is on getting into some of the sustainability use cases and measures, and really helping leaders to implement those downstream with either directly by themselves or by some other consulting partner. So introduction of the platform, it's something that you see in one screen here. So the first thing we call AMP. I know I'm doing it bottoms up purposely because I'm not like talking about the use cases, because we'll talk a lot about the use cases afterwards. But I just want to introduce what we do. And we have benchmarking, where we benchmark and remove bias with AI and reporting. So capability modeling is something that we are really bringing heat mapping, RSCI scoring, and digital twinning of the capabilities and the processes. And then we have performance measuring, design thinking, and road mapping. And all these 5 modules are interconnected. If we have any question, Pooja is also here. She's our global CTO, both for US and the India chapter. And this is something that her team maintains and builds with us. So like for each of this module, there are certain steps which are configurable and it's mandatory. Certain steps are not, and outcomes would be coming out. I will quickly give you a demonstration of the platform. The technology that's being laid out and the data play that's being laid out is mainly on the top here. So this is some of the use cases that we can model. So some of the sample use cases. So what we do is we basically work on cognitive search through NLP and anomaly detection on the platform. And then we also leverage deep learning neural network. And then at the end of the day, as we try to build the use case, make the leader ready for the organization to implement the initiative, we are also building a data lake. So think about in this way. So it's before the implementation happens, you have some data structure. After the implementation happens, you can bring the live data back in and do plan versus actual. And that's something that we integrate with insights and automated actions into business applications. And we do integrate downstream with Hyperion and other financial solutions, other ERP solutions down the road. And at the end of the day, where we are making a mark is on enabling the need for visibility, be it supply chain, be it manufacturing, be it distribution, enabling sustainable visibility, enabling end-to-end visibility. But to enable the end-to-end visibility, there is an organizational readiness you have to go after. You have to measure every node, that which are digital and which node is digital and which node are physical nodes. We enable the organization to let them know where the issues are, where the problems are. And then maybe another organization would come in, or we would come in and implement that strategy. So we also have started implementing the strategy that we build. So initially we just started on building the strategy on the platform, but nowadays we have started implementing as well. And our goal is to really embrace a low touch, a high tech consumption service model, especially on the strategy design and strategy execution. But of course, it's a crawl, walk, run. As I said, it's a long-term vision, and something we are very habituated doing this with a consultant. But doing you yourself, empowering yourself on the platform, is something I feel is very disruptive, and I do get that validation from Gartner and Forrester and others as well as we grow. So this is something is our goal, to create an end-to-end visibility through consumption service. And this end-to-end visibility is not only in supply chain, it's in channels, distribution, manufacturing, enabling sustainable visibility. Of course, as in future, let's say 2 years, 3 years down the road, if we get into fintech, this pitch will change, or it will be amended or appended. So what I will quickly do, I will quickly fit the platform by maybe for 3 to 5 minutes, and make you think before the session starts and the interactive session starts. And then in the value chain, what we would do is think about us as a very upstream data and design ready tool. It's a platform that the consulting partners like McKinsey and others are talking to us. It's a platform that Delphi or Cliff Bar or Amazon Web Services or Microsoft are talking to us and using our platform for their readiness for Industry 4.0, for sustainability and others. So as a quick snapshot of the platform, I will quickly highlight a major feature of the, I would say, the crux of the product here. What we will do is we will build, this is something where we bring value for information, where we can build any capability modeling program. So this is something which is in a place map. It takes 90 days for an organization to build it. We bring on day one. So somebody who is in the cloud, who is in the chaos, immediately get a structure to understand where my implementation partner and myself should be, and where my budget should go, and where I should go after as a prioritization, because this is not only a placemat, it has a lot of interdependencies on the capabilities that you see here. So each of this capability, let's say carbon neutrality, if I click this, and if you see this whole build up on the carbon neutrality, it's built as a best practice. And you get a heat map of the best practice. And this is something we bring data from outside. We actually, when we set this product up, it takes 2 weeks to set this up. And on the third week, when the execution starts, or excuse me, planning starts, we'll be able to see the outside in data, your own data, and then we are empathizing based on the platform. You can save this, you can change the scores, you can set up owners, country, priorities, you can add scoring mechanisms. We allow 10 more attributes. If you don't want, you can also delete one if you want to. So so ideally, if I suppose I don't want to do the climate score, I want to go and delete it. It automatically refreshes the screen. It's a responsive screen, and you will see that now you have 4 parameters. So it's very dynamic. So what I ultimately would do here is that if you see this, it's an individual capability laid out, and any organization actually can see this, where their scores are, where in each of these positions they lack, or they already have the practice. And what we also do between various leaders, VP of supply chain, VP of sustainability, VP of distribution, they can have a good heat map at the global level also. This should all become a colorful, like all colored, like holy colors, 7 Vibgyor color here with your capability, qualitative capability analysis. So what we do with this, that once all these things are done, you ideally would be recommended by our engine, which is an API, which is a patent as well. So where the issues are, where the pain points are. So we are completely productizing your effort and saying that this is your best fit recommendation that you should go after. And all these recommendations go and sit in the placemat, which all performance measure. And at the same time, you can run this heat map, and you ideally, and there are various other things that I'm not showing. I can just make you think before the seminar or the discussion starts here. And suppose you just see the sustainability FPM, and you will see that that not everyone we have scored, but the one we have scored is ideally gives you a ranking, the ones areas we have scored. So now you have a global ranking across your capabilities, where you would make a decision based on financially or non-financially, you would be able to go after. Now the recommendation engine that I showed you, it will go and basically sit here as a placemat, which will lead to design thinking. All these KPIs, the broad KPIs measure the risk. You will bring your actuals in, you compare the actuals, and ideally in a platform with coexistence, this platform can exist with, let's say, a financial tool like SAP HANA, or a financial tool like Hyperion. It can coexist with ERP solutions. So that's where the short, midterm, long plan is. So you get an idea what we have done. It's all about, so I haven't even showed the benchmarking process at all, but I will take a pause here. I will go back to the presentation and I will end with this, right? It's an important message that I want to pass here is whenever, what we have done with Forrester and others when we are working with the analyst firms also, again, see that the space we are playing, which is heavily loaded with consultants, when a platform like this comes in and enables an end user like all of you, okay, or a consulting partner to shorten their digital strategy cycle time and use this as an accelerator, they're seeing a lot of movement between before and after. So when they use a platform like ours, okay, which we are one of the first movers, they're seeing that any kind of strategy that you're doing around people, process, platform, machine, there is a movement around adoption faster because you have a lot of repeatability and visibility and scalability on the placemats that we have created. It's not on PowerPoint anymore. So I'll take a pause here. I'll hand back to Vivek, and I would love to take some questions in the session as well.
Great. Thanks, Andy. I think this is the other side, which is the product platform, and I talked about the ecosystem. So what we'll do is very quickly, as we start with our themes, we'll quickly have a very short video. I'll request Megha to play that.
Yes, just bring that up.
And launch into our themes. Thanks, Megha. So that was a quick one from our product platform perspective. And let's go into our main topic of, I'll just start from where I left around the transformation verticals, right, to the towers. So now we are going to basically organize ourselves. So let me first introduce our speakers. And of course, I'll explain about the themes as well. Basically, we have different people from, just give me 1 second. So everybody knows Mr. Uppal, right? Mr. Uppal has been a known figure in the industry as we talk about. And he has been, and I know Mr. Uppal since last 5-6 years. He has been a technology professional and IT evangelist, a futurist at heart. He has spent in Maruti across various roles. Right now he's touching many roles, many diverse roles altogether across logistics, business analytics, digital transformation, HR, learning, development, and also CSR, right? and he always has a long-term vision in his mind, and inheriting the best practices across the industry. Second is Mr. Vijay. Vijay, as you know, again, everybody knows about him. Vijay is being currently, of course, he's the head of Mahindra Institute of Quality. He is also a chairman, Central Safety Council, Mahindra Group. He has taken multiple roles while being in Mahindra, like being the chief of manufacturing operations, and of course taking on various leadership roles, and also I think implementing business excellence model, the TMW, the Mahindra way, which we continuously hear. So he has been striving for that. And of course, prior to that, he has been executive director and CEO for the automotive sector within M&M, Mahindra, and also chief of manufacturing, basically. Dr. Naresh, Dr. Tyagi, I think again, people know him very well. Senior leader, extensive experience in apparel and textile and retail industry. He has robust experience. Of course, while he has a role of Chief Sustainability Officer in Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail Limited, he has an expertise around business units focused on evangelizing innovation and strategic initiative. And also, he has been leading sustainability at the forefront, right? And he will talk about theme two, which I'll explain as we go forward. Aditya and his team, I'll introduce Aditya and I'll introduce Vikas and Vishwas as we start our interventional rounds. Aditya, very senior leader, very good a friend of mine, actually, I can say that. He's a senior vice president at Volvo Eicher Commercial Vehicle Limited, Volvo Group and Eicher Group joint venture. 32 years in automobile and engineering industries. Extensively, he has worked across operations, supply chain, manufacturing, lean manufacturing, and of course, greenfield establishment as well, right? So, and of course, he'll be supported by Vikas, who heads the bus division. He's the vice president. I'll introduce him, as I said. Then we have Dr. Mala Singh. I think many of you would have heard about her in her green revolution, green, healthy, and sustainable revolution. She is a known figure. And of course, she has been taking the role of net zero building consultant for residential, hospitality, healthcare, educational, industrial, government, and corporate. So pretty big gamut of catchment there for her. She has been bestowed upon with awards on IGBC accredited as an IGBC accredited professional, Griha certified professional, lead green associate, and of course she is our one of our consultant and advisors as well as we bring this ecosystem up, right? So with that, I would actually align everyone to the themes which we have, and I'll quickly try to put some light on that and focus on that. Theme one, as we all have grouped together between the speakers who are actually going to start, and then there are interactive interventional leaders, right? We have brought this round table with good interventional interactions with other leaders who has been the veteran in the industry. So theme one is about what is happening today, current trends in the industry, the global scenario, best practices which we can inherit in the Indian scenario as well, both across transformation, the way it has been defined, and also how we can integrate sustainability, right, as we start the new chapter within our transformation objective. Theme two will have the practitioners, the deep industry practitioners, Vijay and Aditya, to bring in the industry outlook and challenges they are facing today. And it'll be very interactive. Believe me, the way I have seen here, every team has been doubled up or teamed up with people together to bring not a straight talk, just a talk here or a presentation, while that will be anchored as we speak, but we will bring an intensive, real learning of how they are actually addressing the challenges today, and also how they are trying to interweave sustainability chapter into it. So while making their current transformation more sustainable and also integrating sustainability. And the third theme, which will revolve around both across the speakers who would start these themes, will be leading sustainability from the front with purpose and responsibility than just compliance. So I will have both Dr. Tyagi and Dr. Mala to lead this and team up and lead this thing, how others can inherit this. And then, of course, I'll be your moderator and I'll be your timekeeper as well. So I will keep on taking the baton to the interactive leaders who are going to be speaking at the forefront of their experiences, right? And I'll be introducing them just on time as they speak. So with that, I'll pass on the baton to Professor Chandan and Mr. Upal, please. Very excited to start on the first theme. I'll start on sharing now and give you the stage to come in. Thank you very much. Yeah, Mr. Upal, we can see your slides.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think between Dr. Chandan and me, what we want to do in next maybe 20 minutes together would be on sustainability as a subject. And our industry today is at the stage where, the sustainability and the whole, the technology around automotive with the impact on the carbon footprints and stuff like that. I think the focus from a company like us has been on huge on transforming to adopt to new practices and be sustainable as we go along. So my talk will be more towards sustainability as a subject and talk about that, and then Dr. Chandan will take over from there to really develop some use cases and the areas to be done on that around. So I think we have been focusing a lot on our community outreach and other than our automotive footprint, which is part of our sustainability. And as you know, we are Suzuki in India and all. I think I should skip this slide. So when I look at sustainability and all, what do it mean to us? Now, typically, sustainability is very generic term saying meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. But when you talk about business sustainability, I think it has got a very different meaning altogether. Defining as managing the triple bottom line, a process by which companies manage their financial, social, and environment risk, obligation, and opportunities. Now, we need to look at this all three in combination. How do we look at this to build a sustainable business going forward is the whole talk of the thing today. Globally, sustainability has been moving from a traditional focus on financials to the non-financial reporting, and then the whole measurement, which I think we just talked about earlier, is something which is important for us, and to ensure that we do those reportings in a meaningful way and in a business-centric way. It's been talked about a lot in all media terms, in all papers you see this term coming up, and then I think Indian media also has been reporting that very hard. But when you talk about sustainability, I think, or maybe the whole admired company by the Fortune, sustainability, social responsibilities, everything takes a very important role. So all of these companies, unless you have a long-term sustainable agenda aligned with your business agenda, you can't have a sustainable focus on growing. So that's the key focus on that. Sustainability in company like ours is a key element, and we need to have a very clear focus. Now in Maruti Suzuki, and here I'm talking about my own company approach on sustainability, and these are corporate presentation on that. We look at sustainability in three different pillars. Economic pillar, which looks at the whole financial performance. Environment pillar, which look at the whole planet and how do we manage everything around that. And third, the social pillar, which is how to manage the communities around and being a corporate citizen. So in each one of them, I think we have the organization like ours has been focusing on all three of them and create an organization who manage this whole operations together. So our central team on sustainability ensure that our focus on each one of them has been very profound, and we really look at monitoring and measuring projects in each one of these areas to really create that whole thing around, and supported by a very strong measurement process which we are right now putting in place of carbon neutrality, to ensure that the whole value chain of us, right from our suppliers to dealers to our consumers, how much we generate carbon out of that and all, and how much we can manage that as we go along is the whole process which is setting out, and that's the project we are monitoring through a central team in this area. Now, sustainability focus really talk about managing in various different domains. For lack of time, I'll not go to detail, but maybe I'll share some of the practices out of these in our company reporting. And in last report which we shared the progress about that on each area. But economic, environment, social, and human right, the labor practices, and society. In each one of them, the sustainability factor to ensure that we do right thing and we measure that is the important element I want to share on sustainability. When look at Maruti Suzuki now and going deeper into my area around, I think we are trying to bring in a lot of sustainability practices in India, right from our state-of-art R&D center, with manufacturing of lithium-ion battery in India to ensure we do electrification of the cars in India. With Toyota Motor Corporation, I think we have an agreement now to build all area covering the green energy, safety, IT, and the supply of product and components. And in fact, a small example here to share how we measure on renewable fuels, the kind of saving we are doing on carbon to ensure that, which need again I think a sustained model to maintain that. The product which is becoming smart hybrid with EVs around going forward in our industry will need those kind of support. Vehicle safety is becoming very important to ensure that we have everything inbuilt into our vehicles. Comfort and new entertainment features, reducing product emissions with right kind of alternate fuels, and with manage the whole life cycle of the product. In fact, recently we for dismantling and recycling of the car, we set up a new plant in NCR to ensure that happen. Maybe it's a small beginning, but we will scale up to a national level now to manage that, and continental increment of fuels. Customer engagement and support has been a big focus for us with our vast network, which is being trained, managed to ensure that the customers are managed. That's second part of the whole sustainability framework we have. Building the capability of our value chain, including our suppliers, with very strong focus on green manufacturing by our suppliers, Almost 75% of them are certified on OSAS right now, and we're ensuring that through our central MACE platform, which is our wing to manage the capability of our suppliers, ensure that the whole ecosystem of more than 500 suppliers are green and they're supporting us in the area. Supported by, again, very similar initiative with our suppliers to ensure that we manage our network and with a huge training capability to support them. Very strong resource use and management. We are a zero water waste company. All our manufacturing units are on that. We manage all our parking lots in the company with more than 25 megawatt of electrical solar power generation to ensure that we generate power and we consume those power generated by us in our plants during the day, and manage our operations with right use of green energy. Social platform, again, managing with all the communities around with CSR spend of more than 100 crores on road safety, and the skill development has been a very key area for us to work on. With very strong governance, with right kind of governance practices in the company, with robust systems control to ensure zero non-compliance with the law in the company, and then be there in the organization. And if you want to be summarized, and which is my last slide, to ensure that for us, sustainability all about creating a sound, sustained business, and be there in the business with right kind of capabilities in the company to sustain. Need focus organization in the company to sustain this. It has a very wide, aspects to be managed, which I just shared some time back. So the organization has to take care of the sustainability in a wholesome manner to manage and plan. Starting, from government side or voluntary now, but I think it has to be a business strategy to be having sustainability in our board, and which we do have to ensure that we are focusing on that. And last but not least is whole reporting and monitoring mechanism to ensure that we assess the performance of what we are doing in sustainability as we go along. So that's all I wanted to share. I hand over to Chandan to take the whole discussion forward from here.
Yeah, thank you, Rajesh. Vivek, can you confirm that you are seeing my screen? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
we can
Professor,
see.
we can.
Yeah, right. So, in fact, yesterday, me and Rajesh, we had a conversation that we have this 20 minutes, and if we have to really convey a few concrete messages, what could be that? Now, what I'm planning to do is continue from where Rajesh has left. And I would like to share with you some of the trends that we are seeing internationally, both from consumers, and also from the industry. So Rajesh actually emphasized what we talk about, this whole subject of sustainability, right? In fact, yesterday when me and Rajesh, we are having a conversation, we were saying that it's not about a choice. Now, sustainability, Rajesh has mentioned the multiple dimension. It actually also makes economic sense. Now, many international customers, when they buy the product, they are very, very particular. They are asking, tell us what is your current carbon footprint. Also tell us what's your future plan. Are you having a plan in place to reduce your carbon footprint? In fact, companies today are under pressure to have a strategy which is cradle to grave and with complete traceability. So that we see as a trend. Well, laws of the land, the the country where we do our business, but also the country where our customers are there. So that's becoming a very common norm. Companies are talking about reducing cycle time. We also find that end consumers are expecting visibility on both manufacturing and compliance process. Net, we find it's not just about producing goods with zero defects, it's also about having zero adverse environmental impacts. So these are some of the trends we are seeing. Now, I would just like to focus and convey just one concept, the concept of digital twin. So we find across industry, whether it is healthcare, or it is infrastructure and real estate, or it is textile, or it is automotive, or aerospace and defense, we find that people have realized it's not enough if we sell product. We need to ensure that our products are connected. If I give you just one example to emphasize the power of digital, how digital and physical are getting integrated, and these two worlds, that is the digital world and the physical world, they are today connected with technology, with algorithm, and because of sophisticated algorithm, and because of advancement in science and technology, and because of augmented and virtual reality, the gap between the virtual world and the physical world is reducing. So that's one point. Now, I'm just giving one example. If you look at Airbus sometime back realized they have got 10 years of order booking, and they had drawn a strategy to reduce the manufacturing cycle time by 50%, such that their ability to deliver products on time reduces. Now, they decided to build 4 digital twins. First twin is the product that they have to manufacture. So if it's an aircraft to be delivered, you first build a digital twin of the aircraft. If you have to manufacture the aircraft, then you talk about building a digital twin for the production facility. Then you talk about the third digital twin, meaning the manufacturing process. So you build a digital twin of the manufacturing process. Not only that, you talk about the fourth digital twin, that is the after sales process. So you create a digital twin of the after sales process. Now, all these 4 twins are built before even you make the first physical product. And this concept is becoming very, very powerful. Now, let me just share with you the 3 different dimensions of this entire transformation that we are seeing in industry. First of all, our ability to not only understand is our customer happy, but our ability to understand, do we really understand what customer needs? So we find that leveraging digital technologies, machine learning, big data, our ability to enhance customer centricity has increased. We have become much more agile than before. So that's number one. Number two, whatever is my facility, we find that leveraging digital technologies, we are able to enhance productivity. Our products are becoming connected and our factories are becoming smart. The third dimension is people are talking about doing a lot of innovation, not only in the product, but also in the business models. Net, we see that the trend is how do you ensure there is digital continuity across the value chain? And during COVID, we have realized that the digital value chain, in a world which is becoming increasingly contactless, is becoming extremely critical. And people are talking about leveraging digital innovation platform, right? In fact, Andy in the beginning spoke about even productizing strategy. Now, moving on, I would like to share with you one specific example. Now, we find that all this disruption in the industry is having huge impact on future of skills and future of factory. So we conducted a study in the textile industry. We want to understand what is the impact of the fourth industrial revolution on the jobs and skills. Our study shows we actually picked up 103 job roles defined by National Skill Development Corporation. These 103 job roles represent 80% of textile tax force in the country. Now that's approximately, if you assume the workforce in textile being around 50 million, direct and indirect, so you are talking about almost 40 million workforce. Our study shows that 34% of these job roles in India will be actually replaced by machine. So that's number one. So out of 103 job roles, 35 will get replaced by machines. What you see in the right side. Look at the left side. We find approximately 29.1% of the jobs will remain with human. These are primarily jobs which involves innovation and creativity. Now, in the middle, you see 36.9% of the job. Now, this 36.9% of the job, what is interesting about this 36.9% of the jobs? We call these jobs as missing middle. These jobs did not exist before. These are going to be jobs. Some of them you will find machine will lead, and in some of them humans will lead. So these are going to be new roles which will be collaboration between humans and machines. Now, if you add up this missing middle, that is these hybrid jobs with jobs which will be taken over by machine, you are talking about more than 70% of the jobs will go through transformation. And therefore, what is going to be extremely critical is actually upskilling. So just to sum up, I think we need to understand the growth vision of the company in a given implementation scenario. So first step is understanding the growth vision. The second is just like software. When we buy a software, we only get license to use. I think in future, hardware OEMs will be asked to own the product right from cradle to grave, indicating that the business model in future is probably going to be just like what we see in software. So people would get license to use of the hardware. So if I buy a vehicle, it will be licensed to use the vehicle. It is going to be the responsibility of the supplier of the product to take back, recycle, right? And I think we cannot, but we need to ensure that our models are innovative. The third point that I wanted to make was, if our jobs do not involve creativity and innovation, we'll lose relevance. And I think therefore, organizations need to drive upskilling strategy. Finally, what Andy was presenting, right? I think gone are those days when we could take 3, 4, 5 years to develop a strategy and implement strategy and realize we did not implement our strategy well. I think we need to leverage intelligent artificial intelligence, machine learning platform, iterate our strategy execution, ensure that we get clarity on our execution process. And this would increase probability of success, and it would help organization to be transformed, create value for all members of the value chain. Thank you, and over to Vivek.
Thank you very much, Professor Chandan. I think I think for all of you, all of us, a good ground has been set for us to really look ahead and see how we can trace the path, we can trace the trends of maturity, right? So whether it is technology, I think you brought all the facets of it, Professor Chandan and Mr. Upal. Mr. Upal more on what is happening on the ground. Very much happy to see both transformation and sustainability getting executed in the way it should be. And I think you have sketched, Professor Chandan, you have sketched a path of future, right? For all of us to really trace it and other industry leaders to look at it. So with that, I will just, no, again, I just wanted to bring this clarity. And I think much of it you have already brought in, Professor Chandan, in terms of touching upon each and every aspect of the towers of transformation.